So we've already made a list of the best 5 phones under rupees 50,000 for the first half of 2022 in India. A link should pop up right now. You should go check that out. But you know what? There have already been so many launches by the time we've reached August that list needed to be updated. So what I'm going to be doing in this video is actually list out the 5 best phones under and around rupees 50,000 for Q3 2022 in India. Now these are phones that don't necessarily offer you all the crazy flagship grade specs that you get with premium phones, but then you get the best kind of price to performance ratio with the best kind of, SoCs out there. Now the 5 phones that I've picked for this budget flagship list, I'm listing them out in ascending order of my preference, my personal preference. So that could vary with you guys. So let me know in the comment section below if you believe this list is good or not. Anyway, if you don't know me yet, I'm Arshad. You're watching Trakin English. Let's begin. Now the 5th phone in my list was also present in the previous list, and that is the Realme GT2 Pro. Now this phone from Realme stands out because of its 2K LTPO second generation technology flat panel. It's a 10-bit panel and it's a very good looking panel and very well color calibrated too. Plus this panel of course supports HDR video playback and it's got a peak brightness of 1400 nits as well. And internally the Realme GT2 Pro comes with the Snapdragon 8 Gen 1, which was first half's premium flagship processor from Qualcomm, but we all know that it's become better with the 8 Plus Gen 1, and you get LPDDR5 RAM and UFS 3.1 storage as well. So performance wise it's actually very well tuned as well. The other good thing that I like about this phone particularly is that camera setup, because it's a 50 megapixel primary camera with a 50 megapixel ultra wide and a microscope camera. There's no macro camera per se, so that's like a unique tech that Realme has added in this specific phone. Also you get Android 12 with Realme UI 3.0 out of the box, and the charging speed is also very good on this phone. But the problem with the GT2 Pro is that the battery life is not that great. 8 Gen 1 wasn't optimized for battery life, it was optimized for performance, and therefore you get under 5 hours screen on time when you use the phone. And apart from that, there is no IP rating, there's no wireless charging, and of course there's no telephoto sensor either. Now if you've come this far in this video, we make a lot of lists like these and we try to help you with your purchase decision. So don't forget to hit that subscribe button and the bell icon right next to it to get notified whenever we put out an awesome new tech video. And if you like the kind of content that we make, don't forget to hit the like button and maybe even comment below, because YouTube will consider that engagement's happening on this video and push this video to more people looking for such content. The 4th phone in this list is a new phone, and that is the OnePlus 10T. The OnePlus 10T has to be the most generic OnePlus phone out there. So let me talk about the cons first. Firstly, that camera setup is very average and the performance is also not that great. It's that 50 plus 8 plus 2 camera setup that you see even on something like the Realme 9 Pro Plus. The 50 megapixel camera is that Sony IMX766 sensor. Plus in the cons list, you can add the fact that there's no IP rating in India. It should have had IP rating. And of course, there's no wireless charging either. But it's not all bad for the 10T. There is a reason why it's in this list, and that's because it's got this very big, bright 6.7-inch Full HD plus 120Hz refresh rate AMOLED panel with a touch sampling rate of 360Hz, which goes up to 1000Hz. And one of the main reasons why the OnePlus 10T is on this list is because of that clean Android experience that you get with it. This is Oxygen OS based on stock Android, and the kind of experience and the kind of performance that you get with it is really good. And of course, there's absolutely no bloatware, so that's definitely a huge advantage as well. Plus, the performance on this OnePlus 10T is very good. It's got the latest Snapdragon 8 Plus Gen 1. This is the only one of 2 phones in this list that comes with Snapdragon 8 Plus Gen 1 under rupees 50,000. So that itself is a big reason for many people to prefer this over the other phones in this price category. And 8 Plus Gen 1 also brings along with it power efficiency improvements, and therefore the battery life that you can get from the OnePlus 10T is definitely better than the 8 Gen 1 phones on this list. Now while the design itself is subjective, I'm not really a fan of the fact that it's got a plastic frame, but the whole premium experience is very good because of the fact that the speakers are really good. The stereo speaker sounds really good, and of course the haptic feedback has been elevated by that haptic experience that you get with OnePlus, Oppo and Realme phones. Now there's one big upgrade on the OnePlus 10T, and that's of course the fact that it comes with 150 watt fast charging, and it can charge your battery from 0 to 100 in 19 minutes. It's a huge deal for a lot of people. Not for me per se, I'm not a big fan of fast charging, but if you're someone who prefers fast charging, the 10T should be on the top of your list because it is the fastest charging phone in this list. Alright, coming to the third phone that I picked for this list, and that is the iQOO 90, a phone that is very similar in specs to the OnePlus 10T, but does one thing better than the OnePlus 10T, and I'll tell you guys what it is. But before that, firstly, it's got Snapdragon 8 Plus Gen 1, so you get fantastic performance, but the power efficiency improvements on the iQOO 90 is even better than the OnePlus 10T. So of the phones in this list, the iQOO 90 has the best battery life. You can easily expect over 6 hours of screen on time, so that's definitely a good thing. And the reason why the iQOO 90 is a better purchase than the OnePlus 10T is because of that really good camera setup that you get with the phone. So you basically get a 50 megapixel Samsung GN5 sensor plus a 13 megapixel ultra wide and a 12 megapixel telephoto 2x lens. And that means that this is a very practical setup, and the kind of pictures that you get with it are mostly good looking, just that there is some work left in consistency that should be improved for sure, but otherwise it's, you know, a better camera setup than the OnePlus 10T for sure. The other good thing about the iQOO 90 is that it also comes with 120-watt fast charging, which is very fast, and it can charge the phone from 0 to 100 in about 21 minutes, which is very good. But of course, you do not get wireless charging, and there's one big concern that's there with iQOO phones, and that is the FunTouch OS 12 experience. FunTouch is probably the most unrefined operating system experience of all the phones in this price category. In general, also FunTouch is not really that cool. I really hope that Vivo and iQOO can sort of fix that problem, because then there is no beating them with the kind of hardware that they provide for the prices that they provide it at. Now, the second spot is actually shared by two phones, and I've added two phones in this list because the choices themselves are slightly controversial, primarily because these phones are not technically under rupees 50,000 and they're slightly higher than rupees 50,000. And my reasoning for this was that if you're spending 50,000, then maybe you can spend that 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 rupees more to get a better phone. So I just added them in this list. Now, starting off with the Vivo X80. Now, this phone is available for about 55,000 rupees, but then you can get a 3,500 rupee discount and you can get it for about 51,500. So yeah, just for 1,500 rupees more, you wouldn't want to miss out on this really good set of hardware. So yeah, so the X80's biggest advantage is the fact that this is the only phone in this list and the only phone in India right now with the Dimensity 9000 chip, which by the way is one of MediaTek's best chips ever. And it goes without saying that the Dimensity 9000's performance is definitely better than the Snapdragon 8 Gen 1. It's not as good as the 8 Plus Gen 1, but then again, this is a really good performing phone. And as for fast charging, you get 80-watt fast charging speeds, which is very good in my opinion. That's good enough. It charges the phone from 0 to 100 in about 37-38 minutes. That's a good advantage on this phone. About the X80, I must mention this. I do like the design of this phone specifically. It's kind of a looker, especially that blue color. And that is one of the reasons why I'm also recommending the X80, because when you buy a phone that costs about 50,000, you want it to look good as well. It definitely looks better than the OnePlus 10T for sure. Now, another reason to recommend the X80 is the great camera performance. With Vivo phones, you can expect really good camera performance. In fact, in my testing, I had specifically mentioned that the X80's cameras are almost as good as the X80 Pro's cameras. So that's a huge deal, because at this price, you get similar camera performance. So that's a very good thing. And of course, you get a very bright display with 1500 nits of peak brightness in HDR. So that's definitely a huge deal on the Vivo X80. Now, coming to the cons. Now, I did face network issues when I was testing the X80, but I know that a lot of people who commented on that same video that they didn't have that problem. So probably that doesn't exist. So that's definitely a good thing. But yeah, I mean, if you do face that problem, that's definitely a con. And of course, you do not get IP rating or wireless charging, because that's the kind of thing that, you know, manufacturers like Vivo, iQOO and, you know, OnePlus and Oppo, all of these guys want to do by providing you the best kind of specs, especially when it comes to the SoC, but then leave out on the other inessentials, what they think are inessentials, like the IP rating and wireless charging. So that was the X80, which is the first phone that comes in the top 5 phones list. And there's another phone, and that is the Xiaomi 12 Pro. Now, this one is slightly more contentious because this was launched at about 65,000 rupees, but you know, with offers and discounts, it came to about 54,000 rupees. However, for Diwali, Xiaomi has actually reduced the price to 49,999 with, you know, bank offers, and therefore, if you can get this phone for under rupees 50,000, that's like a fantastic deal, because it's a proper premium flagship experience. The first reason why the Xiaomi 12 Pro is a great buy at this price, if you get it, is because it's got a very compact in-hand feel. The second reason is because the display is a 2K LTPO panel, which of course supports HDR10+, it's got crazy peak brightness, and it also supports Dolby Vision, the only phone in this list again. And apart from that, it's got a triple camera setup, which is a 50+50+50 MP triple camera setup. So that's like a consistent set of shoots shooters, and the kind of camera performance that you can get from it is really, really good. But that's not it. It's also got 120 watt fast charging and 50 watt fast wireless charging support as well. So you'll have to buy that separately, but then again, to have this support is great. You do get the 120 watt charger inside the box, so that's definitely a good thing. And MIUI 13 has been tuned really well for Xiaomi 12 Pro. So the experience of MIUI 13, if you're a fan of MIUI, is definitely great on this phone. But there is definitely a problem, and that is the fact that the Snapdragon 8 Gen 1, while it is a great performer, the battery life is the worst of all the phones in this list. I got consistently only about 4 to 4.5 hours of screen on time. And there is that issue of moisture getting condensed within the camera system. A lot of people have been reporting that. We haven't faced that just yet. But yeah, I mean, if this is an issue that a lot of users are facing, then that is definitely a concern for a phone that costs this much. Also, there is no IP rating. That's definitely a letdown. Now, coming to the best phone in this list and retaining the top spot yet again is the Samsung Galaxy S21 FE, because if you want a flagship experience without losing out on any of the flagship features, then the S21 FE continues to be the best bet. And right now it's available for under rupees 50,000, and at that time it wasn't, and a lot of people were talking about that. But yes, this one's currently available for under rupees 50,000 wherever you go and buy it, and it's still a fantastic buy. So the S21 FE of course has a 6.4 inch dynamic AMOLED 120 Hz refresh rate panel, and it's got a crazy bright display as well. So Samsung's displays are really good. So display is definitely a huge advantage on the S21 FE. Secondly, you get a triple camera setup, which is a 12+12+8, of which the 8MP is a telephoto. So yeah, a proper camera setup with OIS on the primary camera and OIS on the telephoto. This is a really, really good camera setup, and you guys know it. The camera experience on this phone, the kind of pictures that you get with it, is absolutely fantastic. And if I'm not entirely mistaken, the S21 FE is the only phone in this list which lets you record 4K video from the front camera. And the reason why this phone is in this list is because you get IP68 and you get wireless charging as well. So yeah, these are features that are generally available in premium flagship that's available on the S21 FE as well. I think that this is one of the reasons why it sets the S21 FE apart. And the S21 FE has support for 4 years of software updates and 5 years for security updates, which is generally around 3 and 4 years for the other phones in this list. So that's definitely a huge deal. Samsung is going to support this phone for a long time. But it's not without compromises. One of the things is that it comes with a plastic back. It's sort of a plastic body phone. However, that's not that much of a big deal in my opinion, because you can just slap a case on it and it's okay. What is a bigger deal though is the fact that you do not get a charger in the box, and the top charging speeds possible on this phone is 25 watt. 25 watts is too low compared to the kind of 150 watt, 120 watt, 80 watt that we are talking about. And there's also 4500 mAh battery inside, which is pretty good. Actually, the battery performance is not that bad, but the problem is the charging speed. So you have to keep that in mind when you're considering this S21 FE. Otherwise, everything about this phone is fantastic, and this continues to be my favorite phone under rupees 50,000. So yeah, so this was our list of the top 5, actually top 6, considering that the second spot had 2 phones under rupees 50,000. Do let us know in the comment section below which one you preferred and if you like the list or not. Until next time, this is Aishad signing off. Keep tracking and stay safe.